UEFA Euro 2024, Germany.
Wouldn't you just know it?
Every game.
Brilliant first touch.
Every goal.
Blasted into the corner of the net.
Every golden moment.
This is absolutely extraordinary.
talkSPORT will take you on every step of the journey. From the group stages.
What a debut.
All the way to the final in Berlin.
That might be job done.
UEFA Euro 2024, Germany.
Oh, what a terrific finish.
Starts this Friday on talkSPORT and talkSPORT 2.
What song was this again?
This was from
Was it?
the football show.
What was it again?
Sky. It was on Sky that opened up the Premier League, wasn't it?
It wasn't it? Wasn't it? Transfer Insider's Ade Oladipo, the voice there of Flex. We're talking Leicester City now. Leicester City, obviously, back to the Premier League. Well done to them as well. It looked like they were stuttering big time. Remember when they're like 13 points clear, and then it just
then they think, well, we want to make this interesting now. Let's take it down to like nearly the last day now.
Yeah, and that's kind of what they did. But they are back. Let's welcome in Chris Forian from Leicester Till I Die. Chris, really appreciate you coming on. Loads going on with Leicester at the moment. I guess the biggest talking point at the moment is no manager. Obviously, Enzo Maresca's decided to leave, so we are waiting for you to have a manager, which I guess then influences who stays, who goes, what signings come in, everything. What's the latest you've heard? Because we're hearing Graham Potter's the first choice, but we don't know if he's going to come to the club or not.
This is the thing, and thanks for having me on, guys. I hope you are both well.
Thank you.
Yeah, we haven't got a manager. It's a bit of a fly in the ointment, really, isn't it? Not the best of starts, but Leicester never do anything easy. I just hope that we can make a quickish appointment. It's been a week now since Enzo left, and he didn't hang around, did he? He got his 30 pieces of silver and left straight away. But no, I mean, it's been a week. We've got the transfer window opening on Friday. We need to get somebody in and get things sorted as quickly as possible. The other fly in the ointment, obviously, is the PSR. We don't know really what we're going to be spending, how many points we're going to be deducted. So there's a lot to take into consideration on this. I mean, at the moment, Steve Cooper seems to be the favourite. Do you like
that? Do you like that link, Steve Cooper's?
I'd love him.
Yeah.
I'd love him.
I think that'd be good.
Good, yeah, very good.
People say like, oh, it's Nottingham Forest, but then so was Martin O'Neill. And what he did for us, and so was Wes Morgan, and he's one of the best defenders we ever had. I think it's the younger ones aren't so bothered because I don't think that rivalry's been there of recently. Because only the last few seasons have we both been in the same division. I'd snap your hand off with for Steve Cooper. I'd also snap your hand off for David Moyes as well, because I think that whoever comes in, look, we are not the Leicester that was winning the Premier League, winning the FA Cup, finishing 5th 2 seasons. We're a club that's coming up with problems. We know we've got the points deduction. For us, it's all about staying in this league.
And David Moyes would definitely give it. Well, he's got the know-how to do that. Absolutely,
exactly.
Hasn't
he did it twice at West Ham. Before he went on to actually win a European Cup with them. Steve Cooper did it with Nottingham Forest. A lot of good young managers around. Like Carlos Corberan, etc. But they got the experience to keep us up. Because if we get relegated at the end of next season, if we do what Burnley did, the EFL are waiting for us with points deductions and fines as well. So we need to stay up. And if we can get somebody in for maybe just a 2-year contract, 3 at the most, that can just 17th will do me this season. Give me 17th now, I'll bite your hand off.
I think a lot of Leicester fans will take that. One thing I remember that Enzo got critiqued for, especially like midway through the season, was even though you're getting the points and you're winning games, everyone started talking about the style of football. That's why I mentioned Graham Potter at the start, just because, again, he's got the experience of keeping Brighton in the league, and the style of football is a good one as well. You didn't mention him. You don't fancy Graham?
I think he's holding out for the England job, to be honest with you. And I think if he was to come, I'm not sure how long he would stay with us. How loyal would he be? And don't get me wrong, I had the joke about Enzo earlier. Managers have got to go when these jobs are offered, because it's when the stock is high. Brendan, when he was doing well, was being linked with Man United, and Tottenham, and then he ends up back at Celtic. So you couldn't do it wisely. So I get it. I totally get it. But you want some loyalty in there. And
loyalty in football. Oof.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm asking a lot, I know. But I don't know if we can afford Potter. He's there. He's on a very, still being paid by Chelsea, obviously, until he takes another job. We haven't, we can't go out. We're not, we can't attract even the likes of a Brendan Rodgers now because, we're not that Leicester.
Yeah.
And if we've got to pay compensation, we got that 10 million compensation for Enzo. That will help us out very nicely, thank you, with the PSR. But if we then got to go out and pay somebody else for compensation, like West Brom or somebody, but no, I don't get me wrong. If he came, I'd be over the moon. But
difficult.
We've been there a couple of times. We've tried to get him, and he said no. Why do we keep chasing him? If he said no, then let's get somebody who really wants to come.
Chris, what in terms of players, who's invaluable? Like who in that Leicester squad now coming up to the Premier League must stay, mustn't be sold?
First one, obvious one, and he's just signed a new 1-year extension, Jamie Vardy. I know he's sort of, 37 now, but he's the one that had that, that called the team meeting when, we suddenly lost, like, say, from 17 points ahead and we got it. He was the one that got the players together and sort of sorted it out. He's the talisman.
You talk about loyalty. He definitely showed that. Could have gone to Arsenal that season. That was
Exactly.
Could have gone anywhere.
Real loyalty and give you 20 goals last year.
How good is he still, though? How good is he still, Chris? I mean, is he sort of your third choice striker? Is he off the bench? Could nick you a goal towards the end of the game? What is he now?
I have said for the last 2 seasons he's going to be the super sub and come off at the end. You write this guy off at your peril.
He loves it. Yeah.
18 goals last season. For someone who's 37 and was injured, that's not a bad return.
And still got the sort of the wind up celebrations, running over to home fans and going in their faces. It's brilliant.
That's why we love him.
The league needs him. The league needs Jamie Vardy in the Premier League.
But look, if you're any defence in the Premier League, and even if Jamie Vardy's not starting, and it's a 0-0 or they're holding on, and they see Jamie Vardy, warming up on the side of the pitch.
There's a problem.
And I tell you what, the other thing, it will get the crowd going.
Yeah.
And it gives that crowd a lift.
What about Dewsbury Hall? Because he's been linked with a move away to United as well, actually. But fantastic player. How important is it him?
Yeah. He is very important. Unfortunately, he's probably our most sellable asset.
Yeah.
He wants to stay. He's a Leicester lad. He's come out and says he wants to stay.
Could you be forced to sell him if the right money comes in? Are you like, well, I'll tell you what, if someone wants to pay 40 million for Dewsbury Hall,
got to go.
The situation you're in,
I think this is the problem. Yeah, he is our most sellable asset, and with these PSR, regulations on us, we may have to. And if we have to, not an awful lot we can do. I think if we depending to say how many points we get, if we get 6-8 points, that we've got it at the start of the season, that might not be too bad. If it's up the other end, 12, 13, 14, yes, we've got to sell him then, in fairness. The one guy that, along with those two, is got to be Harry Winks.
Done so well coming in.
Was.
I've always liked Harry Winks. I think he's all right.
Yeah, it was on the cusp of England, wasn't he, a few times, yeah?
Good little player.
I tell you what, James Maddison went to Tottenham to win trophies. Harry Winks came to Leicester to resurrect his career and won a trophy.
Some may say it's that, the Tottenham thing, it weighs heavy. It weighs heavy.
He not only was the signing of the season for Leicester, I think he was the signing of the season for the whole championship. £10 million. It was like the Duracell bunny.
Yeah, he doesn't stop.
He's all over the pitch.
What about in defence? People like Ricardo Pereira, James Justin. I've always liked James Justin.
James Justin, we've got to keep hold of. Yeah, he can play anywhere across the back. This is the thing. Enzo only played 3 central defenders. We got a great young lad called Christensen that we brought in last season. Didn't want to transfer to being a central defender. Went out on to Italy. isn't happy now at Leicester. He's come back, but it depends what the new manager, what style of play he wants to do. The other signing, which unfortunately didn't get the much game time, was Conor Cody. Another great signing.
Wealth of experience as well, right?
So much.
Perfect.
I mean, you think Conor Cody was that guy that was constantly in the England
But
squad.
when he came in towards the back end of the season, when you guys were really like I saw the way he spoke.
Just a leader in the dressing room.
Yeah, he did an interview with Hamza Chowdhury and it's fantastic.
What we saw last season, Chris, sorry to cut across you, Chris, what we saw last season, obviously the 3 teams that came up went straight down. Obviously, it's 3 quote-unquote bigger teams coming up this season, but you just mentioned it yourself. You take 17th now. Do you think that gap between the Championship and the Prem is just getting bigger and bigger?
Yes, it is. I think it really, really is. And when we were 17 points clear, I kept saying, look at Burnley. Let's not, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Look at what I mean. I'd have loved Luton to have stayed up. I really, really would. I'm happiest that Leeds didn't come back up, of course. That's what made me most
I'm with you on that.
Quite a few are.
I think most Leicester fans would be. Sorry, any Leeds fans that are listening. But no, yes, it is a huge gap, and it is going to be a battle, and we know that. And like I say, we're not the Leicester that came down. It has to be done over a period of time, and this is the thing about managers getting the time. Enzo's gone to Chelsea. I've got a plan. I want the time. 5 years, yeah, more like 5 weeks. The way they get through managers. Come to Leicester, I think you will be given the time, and hopefully, like I say, look at 17th this season, then maybe 16th or 15th, and then move on to there. But it is literally a restart for us, totally.
Chris, final one. You must be the most sensible caller I think we've ever had, by the way.
Very measured.
We're not used to this, Chris. We need you on every day, I think. Chris, final one. Euros, England. How sensible are you on this one? How do you think England will get on?
Look, we're not going to win anything while Harry Kane's in there, is he? He's just a bad luck. It's never. Yeah. Who else could go to a team that's like Bayern Munich and then that's a season that don't win anything? I mean, come on.
Best call of the week.
But you've got an England team here that could win it. Everybody's moaning about Southgate, but look, he's got us to a final. He's got us to a semi-final. We've got as good a chance as any, but it's England, isn't it? And that's the thing that always like, we're not going to win it. I'd love to, but we're not really getting too old.
He's right.
Chris,
he's right.
Perfect call, Chris. Chris Forian, Leicester till I die. Chris, really appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much for
Nice
having
one,
me.
Chris.
How good was he?
Brilliant.
Really,
Breath of fresh air.
Yeah, I just
when they come up next year. After the game, get him on.
Get him on. We need
Sports Bar.
We need a
let
regular
Jason,
Leicester.
let Jason the boys know.
Regular Leicester City fan.
Absolutely.
Chris Forian is your guy. All right, stick with us. More from Transfer Insiders when we come back.